Hello and welcome back everyone to The Real Deal with Empire. I'm your host, Ali Fawaz, and this is the podcast where we don't talk about transactions, we talk about transformation. And in that theme, we're continuing to carry that along. Big topic that's been happening these days in the real estate industry has been the average age of a first-time home buyer. And as you're probably well aware, or you're feeling it, we're seeing that age of the first-time home buyer slightly climb each year. And the latest study that came out shows now that the first-time home buyer, the average age of that first-time home buyer is now 40 years old. And so that's a long ways away from where we were 20 years ago, where the American dream, which is usually predicated on being able to buy and afford your own home, where you can own a piece of land for yourself, is something that used to always be within reach, and it's becoming more difficult to do so. And so I bring this up because it's a topic that we're going to be touching on today. So our guest today is Colandra Moore, and she is a real estate professional and a mortgage loan officer. And we're going to talk about how it's still possible to have the American dream and own your own house. Colandra, thank you for joining us today.
Oh, thank you for having me. I'm happy to be here.
Of course. So why don't we dive right in?
Okay.
So Colandra, you work with so many first-time home buyers.
Yes.
What's the number one misconception that people have about what it takes to buy a home today?
Okay. The number one misconception is that they have to have 20% down to buy a home. The second misconception is that they have to have perfect credit in order to get a perfect or great interest rate. So that's the common misconception, and people really kind of misstep because they don't have the full information to help them get out here and buy a home.
Yeah. So what, in your opinion, what's really changed in the last few years when it comes to lending that I think people really need to know about?
What people really need to know about is that lending has changed to where it's character-based. So it's based on how you take on your financial responsibilities. Are you paying your rent on time? Are you paying your utilities on time? It used to be whether or not your credit cards were paid, or any loans that you have were paid, but now it's about, can you make that mortgage payment, which makes it easier for people to get out here and buy.
Yeah. So it's still fact-based, where they can just see what you've done in your past, and that kind of, I guess to your point, it's all about the character. So let's get into some of the good stuff here. Tell us about some of these lesser-known programs that you've actually helped clients tap into.
Okay. One of those programs is the NOCA program. It's a great program. It's home buyer counseling, and they also provide you with the tools to make those payments. So they also give you financial tools. They provide you with the mortgage, which the mortgage is, there's no down payment, there's no closing costs, there's no fees, and there's no PMI. And there's a low interest rate as well.
Okay, so I want to focus on that a little bit more, because you're telling me that there's no down payment.
Yes.
There's no PMI either.
No.
So for those of you who are not aware, usually when you don't put 20% down on a home, you usually are required to pay a PMI on your mortgage, which kind of ensures that you're going to be continuing to pay your mortgage. But it also makes your mortgage, your monthly payment, higher because you're paying this PMI. And only after you've satisfied your mortgage, where you've covered at least 20%, or you've built up equity in your home that equals to about 20%, do they finally take that PMI insurance off. And so in this scenario, what Colandra is telling us is that you don't have to pay the PMI either. So you can get away with zero down payment and no PMI.
Yes.
What was the other thing I may have missed?
No closing costs.
And no closing costs.
No closing costs.
So tell us more. What do we need to know? How does zero down and zero PMI loan actually work? Like, where's this come from?
Well, with NACA, pretty much they're covering the total cost of the loan. So basically what it is that with no down payment, then you have 100% loan to value. With no PMI, therefore you don't have that. PMI is normally in between $30 to $70 per $100,000 that you borrow. Okay. So you don't have that extra payment. So with NACA, basically what you have is your principal and interest payment.
That's it.
That's it.
Simple as that. And so, is this a government program? Is this a program? Where did this program come out of?
Okay, the NACA program originates through Bank of America. They have the same similar program, but NACA does the home buying seminars. So to educate people on not only just buying a home, they also educate them through the process after they get the loan.
Gotcha.
And keep them from going through foreclosure. So they provide a lot of counseling.
Nice. You mentioned that some clients potentially getting interest rates that could be in the low fives.
Yes.
What type of buyer qualifies for that low of an interest rate?
Well, any type of buyer can qualify. As long as they meet the median income, they can qualify for the 5.25.
Wow, okay. That is pretty low, 5.25. And right now, just for reference, the average mortgage interest rate today is hovering around 6.2, maybe 6.3. And if it was an FHA loan, I want to say maybe they're hovering 5.5, 5.6 maybe?
Yes. Somewhere around in there.
So
yes.
This is even lower than an FHA loan.
Correct. Yeah, it's probably going to be the lowest interest rate you're going to get out there.
So hopefully you guys are paying attention, taking notes. So that definitely blows my mind. Now, if someone is listening and wants to explore these programs, what are some of the first steps that they should actually be taking?
The first step that they should be taking is our Unlock Home Ownership seminar that we have available. So we walk you through the steps of going through the NACA program, and we also help you with some of those documents that you need to submit to get approved.
Nice. And just to give you guys, if you're looking for more information on that seminar, it's not scheduled yet. It's something that we are putting in the works potentially in the next 5 weeks or so. But you can get more information about it, and you can get yourself on the list so that way we add you to it when we do actually start setting down the date. If you visit ergselect.com/unlock-home ownership, and then you'll find information there, and you'll see some steps that you can take to put your name in and register. And that way we'll put you on our communication list. So stay tuned for more information on that as well. We can bring it back up later on. So Colandra, can you share a quick story about a client who thought that they couldn't buy a home, but they did using one of these types of programs?
I have a family member who actually went through the NACA program. So basically they worked with him for a year, got him ready and prepared to buy. He didn't quite have the history that they needed. So they worked with him for a whole year until he was actually ready to buy.
Gotcha. We were talking earlier about the program, about qualifying, and you had said something to the extent of, like, it's never a no. Like, they won't just completely reject you, tell you no.
Yes.
But it'll be a just not right now or something like that. So, like, how does that work?
Well, basically how that works is they work with you until they get you to that position to where you're able to buy a home. So they stay with you. They give you credit tips.
Gotcha.
They also give you a budget plan as well. So they actually get you ready to be that home buyer.
Gotcha. So it's not like they just, sorry, you didn't qualify, be on your way. It's, okay, you're not ready quite yet. Let's continue honing these skills and developing this capability with you so that we can get you ready for it. So that's a really great initiative.
Yes, it is.
What kind of emotional transformation do you see when people finally realize that they can own instead of, renting as they may have been doing for many, many years?
I see them being excited, being happy, being to provide a home for their family. It's nothing like that. And that's why I like this business so much, because you help people with the biggest purchase that they're going to make in their lives. So I see a lot of transformation happening with that, with people who didn't think they could buy a home to now they're able to buy a home.
Yeah, it really is pretty touching to help somebody achieve that kind of objective or that kind of goal.
Yes.
So as we mentioned, we're planning to host that free community seminar to walk people through these programs in a step-by-step method, right?
Yes.
So we can kind of hold your hand through the process. What inspired you to want to educate and share this with the community?
Because this program is kind of like little known. It's a word of mouth program. So to get it out there, to get people going, to get people interested in, this program gives buyers the leverage that they need to buy a home. So it gives them an opportunity to be a homeowner. And I'm excited about being a part of that process because I get to educate and I get to counsel along with NACA and provide them with the services that they need. So this program is for the community to get them into home buying where they're just basically renting and throwing away money.
I think you hit it on the head. It seems like this is kind of one of those well-kept secrets or best-kept secrets. It's like, but why is it so secretive? Why is it such under wraps? When you brought it up, and we're talking about this several weeks ago, in a room full of real estate agents, everyone looked at each other baffled like, this is amazing. We didn't know that there was such a program like this. I've got so many buyers who would love to jump on this opportunity because they're currently renting and they're paying so much for rent that if they can pay that much rent, they can actually afford a mortgage. It just makes total sense that there should be an option out there for them.
Yes.
And then you stroll along and you're like, there actually is an option for them. And so it was really eye-opening for all of us. And knowing that there's people out there like you who have this information, know this information, can share it with the public. It's definitely a valuable asset. So thank you for that.
Yes, I'm glad to do that for everybody in the community. I think everybody should apply for this mortgage.
I would agree. It's kind of a no-brainer.
Yes.
Now, to qualify though, what are the minimum requirements? Like, do they have to be a first-time home buyer?
Yes.
Okay, so they do have to be a first-time home buyer. And what does it mean to be a first-time home buyer? Does that mean you couldn't have owned a home for a certain period of time, or like how does that work?
Being a first-time home buyer, it means that you haven't bought a home in the last 3 years.
Okay.
Yes.
They haven't bought a home in at least 3 years, or they haven't owned a home in at least the last 3 years. Is there any other, I guess, qualification requirements other than that?
Yeah, there are. Basically, what the other qualifications is that they have to pay their rent on time for the last 2 years, their utility bills. NACA doesn't have a credit requirement, so all credit would qualify. It just really depends on if you're making timely payments on your most important bills. They don't ding you for small things like, okay, well, I missed a payment on my credit card. They look at if you're paying your rent on time, because if you pay your rent on time, more than likely you're going to pay your mortgage on time.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And that makes sense why they walk you through the whole process. So even if they tell you, well, you don't qualify right now, it's like they're going to walk you through and help you get there. So if they see that, well, it looks like you've only made 6 months worth of payments on time, you need to get at least to whatever the minimum qualification. You said 12 months, was it, or 24 months?
24 months. 24
months. So you got to get to the 24-month mark where you've made all your payments on time. Then you qualify. So there's always a path to get you there.
Yes.
That is great. Now, what can attendees expect to learn when they come into this at a high level, obviously?
Okay. What they can expect to learn in our seminar is how to go through the NACA program, what is required of them, that they can qualify for no down payment, no closing costs, and no fees. We're going to walk them through going through NACA's 4-hour.
4 hour? Yeah.
Okay.
It is a 4-hour program, but we will walk you through the whole program. Colandra's going to be there, kind of holding your hand through the entire process, educating you through it, and helping you get to the end of the program.
Okay.
So if someone's listening and wants to be the first to know when the date is announced, the best way for them to sign up right now is going to be by heading over to ergselect.com/unlock-homeownership, and we're going to put it on the screen right there. And you can go there to learn more, and also you'll find Colandra's information there, and how to get your name into our database so we can reach out to you and let you know when the date is actually set. Colandra, thank you so much for taking the time to be with us today. Is there anything before we let you go, any word of advice, tips, insights, anything you want to share with the audience before we go?
I want to say, please make sure that you are at our seminar so you can get the information that you need to buy a home.
I would agree. You guys should be there. Take advantage of this program. It's an amazing program. Even if you're just there as a fly on the wall to learn about it, maybe you're not ready to buy today, but maybe that's in a year from now. Maybe it's in 2 years from now. At least you know what it takes to get ready to be a homeowner. And so what I'm going to ask from everybody is going to be to register for that, and also make sure that you are following our podcast, that you're liking our podcast, that you are also subscribing. Leave us reviews, because when you do leave us reviews and when you do subscribe, you're going to be notified whenever our new episodes drop. Again, this is Ali Fawaz with The Real Deal with Empire, and thank you guys for listening and watching, and we hope to see you guys next time.
Thank you.